this week's Friday only, but let's see, most probably next week Monday. You'll get to know like 5 days prior only. No worries. So you can happily work on your project. Even if there is 1 or 2 days delay, it will be managed. But it can't be managed after it goes out of my hands. So most probably it will be next Monday, same timing, 9 p.m. So the class is being recorded. Now we'll go for hierarchical clustering. Now in the previous lessons that we learned, we saw in k-means clustering that we need to decide the number of clusters before making the model. This is one of the disadvantages of k-means clustering, that we have to specify the value of k. But in hierarchical clustering, we do not have to specify the value of k. What we exactly do, we build a tree kind of structure and it will have all the k parameters. It means you're building the model once, but you can have any number of parameters that you want it to be. Like that very model can give you what will happen if the model has been splitted between 2 clusters, what would have happened if the model is splitted between 3 clusters. All the things will be informed in the same model output only. So you do not have, because in k-means you have to try again and again to put the value of k as 2, then try it, put the value of k as 3, then try it. It means you're training the model again and again. In hierarchical, you just train the model once and you're done. You do not have to train a model again for getting any of the value of k. So how exactly do for hierarchical clustering? So there's a proper algorithm. So we'll start each node as its own cluster. We'll just imagine that each node has its own cluster. This is an initialization phase. So this is a bottom to top approach. Like at the bottom, we're thinking that all the points or all the clusters will have their own cluster. Okay, that's the bottom point, and the top is all the points belongs to the same cluster. That's the top. So from the bottom, which says that all the points have their own cluster, will slowly grow to the top, and the top will say that all the points belong to a single cluster. Now how to grow to the top? Now the first thing is start with each node in a single cluster. Start with each node with its own cluster, the initialization phase, and then you have to find the 2 closest cluster and merge them together. Then you have to find out, like all the clusters are there, you have to find out which 2 clusters are close to each other, which are the closest to each other as compared to all the other clusters. The one, like the pair which is closest to each other, will be merged together to form a single cluster, and then you have to repeat this algorithm until all the points come to a single cluster. Now it's a really simple algorithm. I guess after hearing this also you'll understand, like got an idea how exactly it works. We'll see in the diagram how algorithm works. Now just hold on. So project we have to do 4 algorithms in it. Yes, you have to. Now just imagine we have this data set. This is the first axis, this is the second axis. Now these are the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now what we are gonna do, we are gonna we're gonna find out which 2 points are close to each other and then start clustering it till the point where all the points which are there, like all the 8 points, will belong to a single cluster. How we're gonna start it? But before that, we should understand how exactly we are deciding what is the distance between two cluster or 2 points. For this, we're gonna again use the Euclidean distance, and I guess all of you know what is Euclidean distance. So we're gonna use the Euclidean distance. You have this data set, a random data set, no one knows. Now, in the previous example which I've showed you, you know the number of clusters. You have a proper idea of what is the number of clusters available. This time you'll have no idea, and in the code which I'll show you, the clusters or the data set will have no clusters before the model. It means you have no idea that your model is correct or wrong or whatever. So that's why we say that clustering model doesn't have an accuracy, because they are doing it by themselves. They are guessing they're just guessing it. So if there is no right answer, then you cannot rate that this is a good one or this is a bad one. It completely depends on what kind of business model you have, what kind of data model you have, and is the answer that you got is working or not. That's the only way you can guess it. No. So we have this data set. What are we gonna do? We're gonna find out now. What is the first step? The first step was to find out to assume that all the points have their own clusters. Like all the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have their own clusters. Now what we're gonna do? We're gonna find out which two clusters. Now from here on, we'll refer them as clusters because they are not points. Because we assume that all the points have their own clusters. So now from now on, we'll refer them as clusters. Now we'll find out which two clusters are closest to each other. So you can see 2 and 3 are the clusters which are closest to each other. How do we know? By finding the equilibrium distance between all the points versus all the points. So you'll get to know that 2 and 3 are the closest to each other. So 2 and 3 are closest to each other. So what we'll do? We're going to club them into a single cluster. So as you can see, we'll also manage one diagram, which is also known as a dendrogram. A dendrogram is a really good representation of a hierarchical clustering. So because in k-means you have those circles, but in circles as a cluster, because you know the value of k, and k-means will give you the exact clustering. But in hierarchical, starting it's going to have number of clusters. The number of clusters will be equal to the number of data points that you have. At the end of the algorithm, there will be only one cluster containing all the data points. So we'll not have a single stable state. So for that, we make a diagram which is known as a dendrogram. So we're going to cluster 2 and 3. So what we're going to do, first of all, we'll just write all the data points which are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll write all the data points in a horizontal way. Now 2 and 3. So we'll connect 2 and 3, saying that these two are connected, or these two are now a single point. So 2 and 3 has been clubbed together. Now what we have to do? Previously we have 5 clusters, now we have 4 clusters. Now we're going to find out which two clusters are now again closer to each other. Now we can see the cluster which is matched between 2 and 3, the cluster which is 4 are closer to each other. Now you will have a doubt. We have only represented that 2 and 3 are a single cluster, but it doesn't mean that these 2 points are now merged. Like they will be having a single cluster, but they'll stay in the same place. So how we will find that 4 is closer to this cluster? We'll consider 3. Like what distance exactly we'll consider? We'll consider distance between 4 and 3, or 4 and 2, or in the mid value, what exactly we'll consider. So for that, I'll tell you later. There are 4 different conditions that you can use, and on the basis of that, we find the distance between a cluster having more than one node. Because if there's only one node, easily an Euclidean distance. But if there are more than one nodes, you have to find out a way how to consider the distance between a cluster having more than one node and a other cluster. Like both clusters will have more than one node. So how will exactly get the distance between them? So I'll tell you later. But just for now, just imagine that this is an average distance between both the clusters. So 2 and 3 has been combined. Now which will have the shortest distance? 2, 3, 1 and the 4, 1. So what we're going to do? We are going to combine cluster 2, 3 and the cluster 4. So they are combined with each other. Now to represent that 2 and 3 has been combined. Now we have to combine 4. So the combined column will be connected to 4. And these are been clubbed. Now the cluster 2, 3, 4 is closer to 1 or 5. It's closer to 1. So the cluster which is 2, 3 and 4, the top one, has been connected to 1. Now these both are going to get connected. Now you can see 2 3 4 1 is closest to 5 because there's only one column. Sorry, there's only one cluster present. So 2 3 4 1 will be connected to 5. So how we'll connect this? We'll start from here, which is the base of all the cluster, and connect it to 5. And this is our end step, that all the points has been considered to be in a single cluster, and we have our dendrogram. Now this looks completely fine. Now how to get to know the clusters? Like you got, like, you completed your cluster, like clustering. Now how to show the clusters, or how to even decide how many clusters are there? Now using this dendrogram, you can divide your data point into any number of clusters that you want. It can be 1 cluster till the number of data points that you have. Now just imagine you want to see if your model has 2 clusters. So what you can do, you can find a vertical line, sorry, you can find a horizontal line between this dendrogram, which will intersect the dendrogram at 2 places. So you can see that this particular vertical line is intersecting the dendrogram at 2 places, which is this one and this one. So these 2 places will get separated and will represent a different cluster. So you can see this particular thing, this particular point has been separated. It means this particular this one, this cluster will be separated, which is 1 2 3 and 4, and the second one which is separated is, hold on, and the second one which is separated is this one. It means the fifth one. So fifth one has been separated. Now what if we have more, we want to see more than that clusters? So we can increase the number of intersections. How exactly? Now imagine we cross the line here. Now in how many places the line has been intersecting the dendrogram? We have it here, you have it here, you have it here, and you have it here. So you have four intersections in the dendrogram. It means you'll have 4 different clusters. So what are the 4 different clusters? We'll cross the value here. It means there's only one cluster here, so 1 as a single cluster. We'll cross the value here. So how many clusters are here? There's only one cluster having a group of 2 nodes. So 2 and 3 has been clubbed in a single cluster. What is the cluster here? So a cluster contains only 4. So 4 is one cluster. What is the cluster here? Contains only 5. So 5 is a cluster here. So this is how exactly hierarchical clustering works. That you have to get it from the bottom, that all the nodes have their own clusters, and then go towards the top. It shows that all the points belong to a single cluster. Now this is all about hierarchical clustering. Now you want to know how exactly you're finding the distance. That's what I told you, because if I'll show you, when we were clubbing the data, we're just representing that all these clusters are now a single all these clusters are now a single cluster. But in real life, like in real data, you cannot like bring the data points together and just merge it up. They're gonna be there only. You just have to make consider them that they belong to a single cluster. So how to find the distance? So if I'll just open the paint, so and let's take the color. And this also take green color. Okay, so just imagine that we have a cluster A and we have a cluster B. Now if you want to check what is the exact distance between them, that's what we are trying to do in this. Then we're just checking the distances between, like in this particular example, there's only one cluster and the other one was always a single node. But that's not possible. There can be a chance, like instead of these two being closer, there was a chance that 1 and 5 are closer to each other as compared to 1 and 2 3 4. So 1 and 5 would have been a cluster before 2 3 4 has been joined. So At that very case, you'll have two clusters, and then those two clusters will have more than one data point. So how to find the distance between them? What exactly do you even consider to find a distance? Four clusters, I didn't understand. What exactly you want to ask? For example, 5 points. This one only, no? You're talking about this example, like this one? Yeah, so there will be 4 clusters. It completely depends on how many clusters you want it to be. You can make more than 4 clusters also, you can make 3 also. If 3 is possible, we'll see. Okay, 3 is possible. If this particular line was drawn here, then we'll have one cluster here as 1. One cluster here we'll have 2, 3 and 4 in the single cluster. One cluster will have 5. So it completely depends on how many clusters that you want. That's one of the advantages of hierarchical cluster. It lets you decide how many clusters you want. So we'll go here. Now to find out the distance between two clusters A and B. Now there are 4 different linkages that is available in hierarchical clustering. First is a single linkage. Single linkage consider that the distance between two clusters is the distance between one data point from cluster A and second data point and the closest distance between them. Now you can see that if you'll find out the distance between one data point and the other data point of the other cluster, what will be the shortest distance? What is the closest point or the closest distance between any of both of the two clusters? And the closest distance will be the distance between the data points which belongs to the respective clusters which are closest to each other. So the first one is a single linkage. First one is a single linkage. Now second comes a complete linkage. The complete linkage is exactly opposite to the single linkage. So it will find out that the longest distance between the clusters. So now you can see this point and this point, what is the most longest distance between both the clusters. You cannot have more than this distance in any of the pair of the clusters belonging to the respective clusters. So the longest distance between the two clusters, because of the data point of the data point pair, will be the complete complete cluster, or sorry, complete linkage. Now 2 has been done. Third is an average linkage. The average linkage tells that what you have to do, you have to take one data point, find the distance between this data point to all the data points of the other respective clusters. Like find the distance from here to here, and find the distance from here to here, find the distance from here to here, find the distance from all the points, and get the average. Like what is the distance between this point to all these points? Yes, you'll get to know. Just imagine this has 5 data points. Even this has 5 data points. So you'll have 5 distances for this attribute. So all the distance that you got divided by 5. Now you're gonna do the same thing with this point. You're gonna do the same thing with this point. You're gonna do the same for all the points, and again average the whole thing. So the distance that you'll get after averaging the distance between all the data points of one cluster respective to all the data points in the other cluster is an average linkage. So this is the third one. Now fourth one comes a centroid, and this is the most easily understandable thingy. And the thing is, get the points, find the centroid. So this point will have a centroid somewhere here. Let's point it by having a color of purple and a bigger size. So just imagine this is the centroid of this point, and for this cluster you'll have a centroid here, and to find the distance, just find the distance between the centroid, and the distance between the centroid will be considered as the distance between the cluster. So these are the 4 linkage that you can use in hierarchical clustering. Just in short, simple linkage, it means the shortest distance between two clusters. Second, complete linkage, it means the longest distance between two clusters. Third, we'll have the average, it means the average distance of all the clusters of the respective cluster, all the data points of all the respective clusters will be the average linkage. Fourth will be the distance between the centroid of the clusters. So it's completely upon you which one you use. Most of the time we use complete or centroid. We don't generally go for simple linkage, but there is a simple linkage available, so it's better you should know. Now this is all about linkage, like how exactly you link. Now we'll go to the code. So we'll start the code. Again, NumPy and Pandas always available, and we are using Matplotlib as pyplot to plot the dendrogram. Now we're going to use a CSV file, which is a small customers.csv. Now that small customers has 5 features, which is customer ID, genre, age, annual income, and spending score. Now what we're going to take, we're going to take only age and annual income. Okay, in clustering you can have more than 2 features also, but just to show, because showing 3D diagram, okay, it's possible, but it's hard. Showing a 4D diagram, not even possible. So that's why we're just considering, for now, we're just considering 2 features and their output. So what we're going to take, we're going to consider age and annual income and their spending score. Sorry, what we're going to consider, we're going to consider the annual income and the spending score, and how to slash it out using the slashing operator. And how to use the slashing operator, we have to use dataset.ilog. No parameters provided for rows, it means all the number of rows will be applicable, and 3, 4 will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're taking annual income and spending score. So annual income and spending score and dot value, that means convert it into a NumPy array. So X will be a NumPy array which will consist this. So the exact row that you have for annual income and spending score, it's been considered like transformed into an NP array. So now you can see X is here. Okay, I thought you were going to ask a question, no problem. So now you can see in the previous output, or in the previous example, we know the clusters, that we know the clusters beforehand, that this one belongs to one cluster, this one belongs to one cluster. In this particular example, we don't. And this is the actual example that you can come across into your work, that you do not have any idea of the cluster. You have to guess what the clusters can be. Now that has been here. Now to get the hierarchy, we use a function. So as you know, all the machine learning models are saved with sklearn, but as the example I've showed you, this dendrogram, to show this dendrogram, sklearn doesn't have a predefined library for like predefined function to make this dendrogram, or neither Matplotlib has a example of making a dendrogram or a seaborn. So there is one more library which is known as SciPy. The full form of SciPy is scientific Python. So we have to import scipy.cluster.hierarchy as a ch, any name that you can give it an alias. So using this particular library, we're gonna make a dendrogram. So how to make a dendrogram? First, okay, you can just give this line. If you will not give this line, it's fine. But just to make sure that if your dataset is big, make sure that your dendrogram that you print is big enough so that you can observe, because you can see, even though I made this dendrogram very big, still you can see there are like really small places. You can see, like, zoom in, still you can see the like really small clusters made. So make sure that you expand your data, like expand your datagram. Now to make a dendrogram, we're going to use the functions sch.dendrogram. In the dendrogram, you have to provide the linkage, and the linkage will take the value of x, or the value with which you have to make the dendrogram, and the method which they're gonna link to each other. So sch.dendrogram, sch linkage, x, and method. So method you have to provide either of the four which I have told you: single, complete, average, and centered. So currently we are using complete. Now a dendrogram has been created. Now you just have to give the title, PLT title, PLT X label as customers, so X label as customers, PLT Y label as equivalent distance, so to have equivalent distance, and PLT show. So you have this dendrogram here. So now you can see the previous example I have showed you, it was a really simple one, but now if you're going to use the model, a bigger data set, you're going to have a really big dendrogram. Now it completely depends here also, it's completely dependent upon you, how many number of clusters that you want. Make a line here. Just imagine you make a line here. Then how many clusters you'll have? One intersection here, one cluster, 2, 3, 4. So if you'll make a line here, you'll have 4 different clusters. You make a line here, you'll have n number of clusters, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have 7 clusters. So now you can see the power of hierarchical clustering is just you train the model once, and you can test your model to have n number of clusters. From one clusters to all the number of data set will having a single cluster. You can try anything. This is one of the advantages of one of the biggest advantages of hierarchical cluster. Okay, now dendrogram has been done. Now we have to do the algorithmic clustering. Now in algorithmic clustering, now we got to know the dendrogram. Now in algorithmic clustering, we provide the clusters. Like now how many clusters that you want to see, like out of this dendrogram, how many clusters you want to see to like predict the output. So from sklearn.cluster, we import algorithmic clustering, algorithmic clustering, because hierarchical clustering is divided into 2 parts. Or I should have told you in the starting only. So hierarchical clustering is divided into 2 parts: algorithmic and divisive. So algorithmic is the one which I have explained you. Which one is the one which is used? Actually, which is used is algorithmic, which means bottom up. That at the starting you'll have all the data points having their own clusters, and then slowly you're building up towards the point that all the data points will have a single cluster, will be in a single cluster. Divisive is completely opposite to that. In divisive, what we consider is all the data points belongs to a same cluster, and then you start breaking the tree, and you'll stop at the point where all the points will have their own cluster. As you can see in the dendrogram of algorithmic, we start from the basic, like all the points have their own cluster, and slowly we started building at the top. In divisive, we'll have this one at the first one, and slowly you'll start breaking the tree. But I don't know, like ever divisive is I've ever seen anyone using divisive clustering. It's not even present here in sklearn.cluster. So this is your clustering now. So from sklearn.cluster, we import the algorithmic clustering. So again, what we exactly do? Algorithmic clustering. We provide the value of clusters. Now we know how many number of clusters you want. Like you can see from the dendrogram how many number of clusters you want. Affinity is equilibrium. Affinity stands for what exactly different, like difference you want it to be. Yeah, equilibrium, Manhattan, Pearson distance, sine distance, cosine distance, minute distance. We always use equilibrium, easy to understand. And in linkage, what we want: complete, or single, or average, or centroid. We did it here. Now, after doing this, we write fit underscore predict. Now I've showed you how many times, like all the times which I've done. What happened? Okay, sorry. That we use fit and predict to fit to make the model and predict to get the output. let's make it a model. C dot fit has been done. Now it's C dot predict. And what exactly we're going to predict? The exact value of x, because we haven't splitted it. Now you can see HC dot predict is not applicable, it's not available. Right? There's no object attribute for predict. So there's one thing that you'll see in clustering. Instead of k-means clustering, all the other clustering, which is dbScan or this hierarchical clustering, that doesn't have a predict function separately. Like what we do is we train the model and we get different outputs, so different inputs to get the predictions. But what exactly happens in clustering, that you have a random unlabeled data, and that unlabeled data has been defined into a cluster, like different cluster, which even you don't know the answer of. No one knows the answer of. You're just dividing it to the cluster. So it means it's not training itself. It's just clustering the data into different clusters. There's no training going on. Like now the model has been trained to guess any of the answer that will come, or any of the point that will come. It can guess it into it can guess that it belongs to that cluster. That's not the case. There will be a separate condition for that. So every time if you're using hierarchical clustering or dbScan, you have to use fit.predict. So fit.predict will do the same thing that the previous one do. First train the model, and then prediction will get you the predictions, like in what all clusters you have. The data has been divided into. There is no dot in that column. So all the data that has been divided into. So you have HC.fitPredict, provide the value x. X is the exact value that you have given. Again, there is no train test split because we have no idea what will be the answer. It's an unlabeled data. So the output of this will be all the points of x clustered into one of the 4 clusters. So you can see if you provided clusters is 5, there are 5 clusters. So you can see the output is 4, 3, 4, 3, blah blah blah. So it will be oscillating between 0 to 4. So one number represents one cluster. Like okay, the first attribute belongs to which cluster? It represents the number. So you can see the first attribute is 1539. So the point 1539 belongs to cluster 4. What is the second attribute? Second attribute is 1581. So 1581 belongs to third cluster. So this is how the cluster has been shown. Now I want to see how exactly the clusters look. For that, there is a bit tricky thing that you have to do. We use the scatter method, and for all the clusters we provide different colors and different labels. So first we have to find out all the clusters for which the predict function gave the output 0. So what we provide, as you remember, for sk.plt.scatter, we provide the value of x and the value of y. Now we have to find all the value of x. Sorry, for this particular, now consider this as a data. Like don't say it as x, it's a data. For all the data that you have to provide the value of x and the value of y, for which the answer is 0, or for which the model told that it belongs to the cluster 0. So what we did, x are the data for which the x of yc, you can see x of predictions, hierarchical clustering is 0. 0 stands for this, the first column, which is the x x point, or the x data point, and again the data xc is equal to 0. It means the same cluster which it belongs to 0 cluster, and 1 stands for its y point. So the first line is telling that you should show all the data points in a scatter graph which says that their HC is 0. It means they belongs to the 0 category, the cluster 0, and get their 0th and first index from the data x. Now what exactly data x has? All the data points, and their 0th and first index stands for their x point and the y point, or the x coordinate or the y coordinate. So this is how you're getting the first scatter plot. The same thing that we are doing for all the scatter plots, that we're getting the first and second point from the array, which is the x coordinate and the y coordinate. But for the second one, we are providing where h is y of h3 is 1. It means the cluster is cluster 1. Second, the cluster is cluster 2. Third, when the cluster is cluster 3. Fourth, when the cluster is cluster 4. We print all the clusters which is here. We give different colors for different clusters, and we provide different labels. Even if we don't provide different label, it's fine, but we have to provide different colors so that they should mix with each other. Now you have to give the title, you have to give the X label, Y label, and show it. Now you can see the clusters has been divided. This is the cluster. This is what output you will get if you will try to make your model to split into 4 clusters. Now what we can do, just imagine we have only 4 clusters. So we are thinking of only making 4 clusters. Run the code. Now you can see the output that you got is 0, 3, 3, 3, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2 and all. It means now the model has been trained for 3 clusters only. How many? 4 clusters only. So if we'll execute the code again, now you can see there was 5 clusters before. Now there is only 4 clusters, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 2 clusters have been merged with each other because the dendrogram says that these 2 clusters are really close to each other. So if there will be more than one cluster, like the cluster number will be less, these 2 clusters will be belong to a single cluster. And you can see this answer we got from the same code because this particular line is not doing anything, because h of h is equal to 4. It doesn't satisfy any of the condition. But if you increase the number of clusters, like you increase the number of clusters to 6, increase the number of clusters to 6, so you have to make one more line. A line, get scatter, copy, paste it. Now you have to make HC of 5, means the cluster should be 5, and then x coordinate and y coordinate. And this time we have to give any random color. Let's give red, green, blue. Let's give yellow. I hope yellow is there. So now we have 6 different clusters. Now you can see all the 6 different clusters. This is the 6th cluster that we made. The 5th one, these 2 clusters are closer to each other, so they are considered as the same one. But if we have 6 clusters, this is going to be the separated one. So this is all about hierarchical clustering. So I guess it's, what is the S parameter in scatter? Okay, S parameter. S parameter stands for the size. If I'll decrease this parameter to 10, the points size will get decreased. Okay, so this is all about hierarchical. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, if no one has any doubts, then you can just give the yes or thumbs up or anything. Which method is usually used? Like which clustering method is usually used? Completely upon you. You can use centroid instead of complete. No problem. There will be really small changes. I have explained you what exactly happens when, what exact distance and difference is there in complete and centroid. The consideration of the distance will change. From the longest distance, it will go for the centroid. Now if you want to know when exactly we use which one, it's not possible. The thing that you have to use completely depend upon your knowledge of what exact data that you are using. If the data will give right answers for single linkage, you should use single linkage. If the answer will get, the data will get the right answer for centroid, we mostly go for either complete or centroid. Single is rarely used because single tries to make a chain, which is not good, because single will take the smallest distance, so it will just try to make a chain A to B, B to C, C to D, all the chains they will try to make, which is not good at all. But in some cases single distances are good, so we only use 2 columns for cluster. No, you can have a number of attributes. We just only showed you so that it's possible for you to represent, because if I would have used like 3 attributes, 4 attributes, or 5 attributes, or 5 features, it's not possible to show a dendrogram for that. It's not possible to show a chart for this. Like you can see a chart for this because it's a 2D diagram. 3D diagram, okay, possible. 4D, not possible. So that's why I only took 2 attributes. You can have more than 2 also. You can have n number of attributes. There's no limitations for that. That's the same thing that happened in linear regression. I could have I have easily showed you the graph and the line of linear regression when it was a simple one. When it was a multiple one, it was not possible because 4D diagram are not possible to show. Don't get how many clusters you use. It completely gives you the whole idea of what will happen if you use 2 clusters, what will happen if you use 3 clusters, what will happen if you use 4 clusters. So you can just go and try how many clusters you want to make and get your answers. Okay. Cool then. Any other questions? Okay, Vignesh is fine. This concludes the class for today. So I'll be sharing this Jupyter notebook right now, otherwise I'll forget it, or maybe my data will go off again. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can just text me on the group or on the WhatsApp, whatever you want. Okay then, bye bye.